Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is the fourth webinar in our speaker preparation series for AIHce 2019. This webinar in particular is geared towards PDC presenters. Mainly, we'll be going over slides, how to prepare your slides, as well as what we will do to create the PDC handouts with your slide materials. And joining me on the call are Brandy Kissel as well as Rhonda Kaufman with the Continuing Education Committee. And they'll be here to answer any questions that you have and also presenting some of the information. So before we get started, I wanted to go ahead and let everyone know of the pending upcoming deadlines we have. March 4th is the date that we would like everyone to take a look at all of the content that is on the Speaker Toolkit section of the website. March 18th is the date that you can register for the conference before the rates go up. So if you are a PDC presenter, I sent a code to you either late December or early January where you can register for your PDC at no cost. It is required that even if you're not attending the conference that you do register for your PDC. March 21st is the date that we will announce course cancellations if you have a low enrollment. I will be reaching out to everyone at the beginning of March just to let you know again where you are at attendance number-wise and if you are indeed at a risk of being canceled. We do need at least 10 paid participants per course just to offset the cost of actually putting the course on. You'll be hearing some more information about that shortly. And then March 27th is the PDC handout materials due date. So everyone should have received an email from me last week about the PDC upload site. So I'll be going over that again today in this webinar. Okay, and in case you're not familiar on where to find the speaker toolkit and various materials, if you go to AIHce2019.org and click on Speak, this is the speaker toolkit. Highlighted are the particular areas you want to take a look at if you're a PDC presenter, the PDC presenter resources where you can download the PowerPoint template, look at all of the information there available for you on logistics, handouts, and all of that stuff. And you'll also probably want to look at the helpful hints for your presentation section where we have a special document containing information for successful PDC presentation, along with a copy of all of the upcoming webinars and webinar recordings that we're doing. Okay, and that's just going over what is there on the helpful hints for PDC presenter resources. Okay. And then I wanted to invite Brandy from our Continuing Education Committee, the CEC, to start with the next slide on how to start going over your materials and get together a well-done presentation as far as your slides go. Brandy?
Hello, everybody. Successful emergency presentations are usually the ones that are on target with their course description and their PDC title. They have relevant industrial hygiene themes and examples and application. Attendees should be able to leave with practical skills and apply to their jobs. That is a common comment that is made during the evaluation process. Even PDCs that are heavy in theory should have some sort of practical applications that can be applied during the presentation or afterwards. Giving clear, simple, effective, conveying ideas and providing new tools and skills is something that is highly valued in course evaluations. Also, current, accurate, and objective things are really important. Creative and offering solutions and processes and new ideas, allowing for collaboration within the training session. Understandable, concise data that's clear. one of the largest complaints we receive from attendees are in regards to commercialism. Presenters who appear to be selling, promoting, displaying, or advertising their own services, products, materials, books, any sort of commercial items, or bringing in a vendor to present a section of their training. Do not use any company logos in printed or handed out materials. If you possess the content copyright, you may place your organization's name and a copyright notice only on the first and last page or slide of the handout or presentation. If you're using someone else's copyrighted content, you must include the copyright permission information with your submitted presentation and or handout. E-handouts and other learning aids. It's imperative, it's really, really important to have all slides and electric materials provided to AIHA by the required date of March 27th. AIHA will create a handout using your PowerPoints and any other materials, including Excel workbooks, and convert them into a secured PDF. They are distributed via conference mobile app to your course attendees at least 2 weeks before the conference. If you choose not to provide the handouts electronically, you are responsible for printing appropriate quantities and for bearing all associated costs. This is another concern that does come up during course evaluations, is the material received by AIHA and given out 2 weeks prior to the presentation is not the same presentation. So make sure that it is accurate. Your handouts should include all slides to be presented in a range in which they will be presented. Adhere to all commercial guidelines that were presented earlier. Contain the PDC agenda, which includes the break times for coffee break and lunchtime, the presenter's name, contact information, and biographies, a table of contents, and a glossary of unfamiliar items. Advanced reading and reference documents should be distributed separately. Presenters must obtain permission for any copyrighted materials. As you're working on your slides, keep in mind the following points. Use common fonts such as Arial or New York Times fonts. They should be at least 24 points. Headings should be no less than 36 points. Avoid writing in all capitals. Underlining, bold, and italics should be used sparingly. Keep style and spacing consistent. This is something that a viewer will notice. Help ensure readability by avoiding slides with too much text, complicated tables, hard to read figures, etc. Proofread and spell check and correct for errors. Color schemes. Be aware of using too bright of colors or too common colors. Keep colors simple. Light colors should be used for the text on dark backgrounds, and dark colored text should be used on light backgrounds.
And Brandy, I'll just jump in here to let you know that while you don't have to use the AIHce template, which is the one that we're using to present on now as a PDC presenter, if you do, it makes the color scheming and kind of layout a lot easier.
Yeah, the template actually makes it a little bit easier because it already has these guidelines in it when you're creating your new presentation. Yep. When you insert images, avoid dated pictures or images and background graphics. Make sure it's not fuzzy when you present it. Use digital images that project well on a monitor. If you're using charts and graphs, make sure you have legends and they're legible unless you're going to describe it. Also ensure that if you're using digital images and graphics that there is a copyright with it.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and start talking about the handout file upload. Basically what a handout is, Most people have come to expect receiving the final PowerPoint as the handout. Additionally, we can add things that you'd like if you want to add your own kind of cover pages, refreshed agenda, that sort of thing. You can include those as well, along with any sort of additional files that you'd like. But what we do is we take the PowerPoint and we change it and make it into a secured PDF file with 2 slides per page once you actually upload that. So like I mentioned earlier, you should have gotten an email from me last week about uploading your handouts. What you'll do is go to the Speaker Center online. This is the same site that we've been using for pretty much everything from submission all the way through the end, so you should be semi-familiar with it now. Once you log in, you'll go up to the dashboard. Click on the dashboard and then click on the schedule under Speaker Center, and you'll see a upload presentation button. And once you click on that button, that's going to shoot you over to the actual site that looks kind of like this. So you'll see your actual presentation there if you're doing a PDC, and if you have co-presenters, you're going to see all of their names and links to all of their items as well. So once you get in, you can see anything that your co-instructors have uploaded. So if you guys are working independently, maybe you all have a file, you'll be able to see anything that they have uploaded. You can drag and drop your own files in if you're doing multiple files at a time. But if you do have multiple files, I just ask that you either email me the order of the files, the way that they're going to be presented, or if you go ahead and number your file names so that I know what order they go in. Just sticking a 1, 2, 3, etc. before the file name is really helpful to me. We ask that you also don't make changes to your file after the deadline date. Once it hits the deadline, I'm going to start taking everything down from the site and starting to create the handout materials. So if you make changes and you don't let me know, they will not be reflected in the final handout. And also just to let you know, all across the conference we will be using the same site, but students and attendees cannot in any way see files uploaded here. So if you add stuff to this site late, they're not going to be able to access it. So you definitely need to contact me because we're using the mobile app to get them access. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about the course evaluations. And Brandy will talk about that because that's important to the Continuing Education Committee and how we select the courses for the following year.
After the PDC, students are asked to evaluate the course on a 5-point Likert scale using the following questions: pace of the course, organization of the course content, usefulness of the information presented, instructional methods such as lectures, demonstrations, collaborations, course assessment methods for transfer of knowledge, course materials, did the course achieve the advertised learning outcomes, information covered was appropriate to the advertised course level. The answers and the course averages are used by the Continuing Education Committee as part of the post-conference PDC evaluation process. The Continuing Education Committee will use them to issue a letter to the course instructors to thank them for teaching and provide overall comments or suggestions for the course. Should they wish to submit for the following year's conference, the average of those questions are also used to rank the PDCs, and those that make the top 5 are automatically added to the program for the following year, should they wish to submit, and they do not have to be reviewed. Question.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up the line, unmuting everybody, and if you guys like to ask Brandy or myself anything.
The conference has been unmuted.
You said earlier that we must use the AIHce template, and then a little bit ago you said it was optional. Which is it?
Well, for the main conference, you do have to use the template. For the PDCs, we make it available for you to download. It is preferred that you use the AIHce template, but it's not required for PDCs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll take that as a no. If you would like to email me your question after the call, please feel free to do so. And just to let you know, if you'd like to review any of this information, right after this, I'm going to be posting the recording along with the slides on the same page, which I'll stand back to now, on the AIHce speaker section of the website, all the way back at the beginning. So it'll be here under the helpful hints for your presentation if you want to go back and take a look at any of the slides we presented, or if you want to listen to this again. We thank you again for joining us today, and thank you for Brandy and Rhonda joining us as well. We hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.